Hello everybody, you are watching the Chrissy B Show and we have got a very exciting show for you today. As usual, we have our fitness tip with Jane Wrafter. We're going to be talking to some very optimistic people, including Richard Bray, and also we're going to be speaking to a young lady who describes herself as a pessimist, and that's Laura Jane Tamsit. But there'll also be advice from Dr. Sally Austin through Skype too. And of course we have our usual success story. But first of all, one of my favourite parts of the show, because I love these two, the dynamic duo Ian Pelham-Turner and Helena Shard.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
How are you both?
Excited.
We're
Very
bouncing,
well.
we're bouncing. We've had this wonderful cup of tea in the green room.
Oh, you did, with our new teacups, and they were so excited.
It's the most exciting part of our week.
Well, I think your socks are the most exciting part.
Thank you
Have
very
you seen
much.
them, everybody?
I think they're highly patriotic.
Union Jack. Don't look, can we get a close-up of the socks? Maybe not.
Probably just as well.
You'll get to see them later, don't worry. So what's going on in the news today?
Well, I'm personally very excited, hopefully with the whole world, that our iconic singers are coming back. They're all holding concerts, Kate Bush being one of them, and she released her tour dates and they sold out in,
for a while,
I know, for ages, 10 years at least, more, no, possibly more, longer, but they sold out in 15 minutes.
Really?
All
So
her
they haven't
tour
lost it,
dates.
have they? Because sometimes
Yeah,
so you don't hear from them for a while and you think, oh, maybe if they have something
but they
else.
have
at
like
concert.
super fans.
Wow.
But for me, I'm really excited. I mean, there's loads. There's Boy George, but Alison Moyet, who I love, has come back. And in fact, I'm seeing her tomorrow in concert at the Royal Albert Hall.
Oh,
yeah, so I'm
nice.
really excited. But she's got a new album out called The Minutes, which is really lovely. And the whole idea of that is that basically don't waste any minutes in your life, because any minutes you take for granted, they could be the best in your life.
Yeah.
So. And
That's a good
she's
message,
it's
isn't
just
it?
really
It's a
nice,
powerful message.
lovely. And she actually was depressed for like 10 years, and now she's come out of her depression.
Oh, brilliant.
So I'm just really excited to.
Well, if
to
you happen
see
to have
her.
a chat with her,
Yeah.
do invite her on the show and we can talk about her
Yeah, I
recovery.
will.
That'll
I'm
be really
sure.
good.
Yeah,
And she's changed so much as well, because obviously, I mean, she lost so much weight.
I haven't actually seen
She's
any
like
pictures
you
of
now.
her.
She's slim, elegant.
Oh, well, thank you, Ian.
Because there's that iconic thought process of her, because she was quite large at one point. But
Yeah, I
she's
remember,
quite
yeah.
slim now.
Oh, really? Oh,
But,
I can't see a picture of her. Do we have one today? No, we don't have one. Do we have one?
Do you?
I think we did.
There she
No,
is.
is that
There we go.
Yeah, can you
And you see,
believe
that's
it?
Alison Moyet.
Amazing,
It's a
isn't
completely
it?
different person. Wow.
So she's just, and I think, I mean,
believe
her
that.
voice has
No,
changed a lot as well, because obviously she used to have a contralto voice, a lower voice.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
it sort of changed her
It's
voice.
gone more
a
high
little.
pitch now.
She's gone a little bit higher pitch now. So
Really?
yeah, but it's quite interesting. And as you know, I'm a great lover of food. I don't know what gives it
We
away.
all love
I don't know what
food.
gives
We
it
all
away,
love
but
food.
I'm this sort of great lover of food. And bless her heart, Gwyneth Paltrow going through all these problems right now. But on her own website, Goop, White Goop, I don't know, G-O-O-P, for those who don't know how to spell Goop, like me.
It's like a lifestyle website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she sells
She's,
everything positive. So
She's created her own cookbook now. So she's created her own recipe book.
I didn't even know she could cook.
She's creating her own recipes, and it's a bestseller, this book now. And whether this has got anything to do with all the publicity
Recent
she's getting at the
publicity.
moment, I don't know.
I think
but
probably.
Possibly.
Yeah, so it's fun from that.
Have you seen any of the recipes?
Not yet, not
I
yet.
haven't, but I think she suffered from stress and various things, was very tired, and she realised she had to cut everything out of her, food that she would normally eat. So with a friend, they worked on really healthy foods, which she then made into a book. It was really
That's
delicious.
nice.
And you
I have
went
to say, I'm
to meet
curious. Yeah,
Simon
curious,
Cowell
yeah.
recently now at a party?
Yeah, recently a party with Simon Cowell, met Simon Cowell there, and Sunita and a few stars at a
They're
recent...
always together, aren't they, Simon
They
and Sunita? It's like you
are.
can't separate them.
They are, but they're really, really good friends, and you
Yeah.
can see they're good friends. So that was at a recent magazine launch.
Okay.
And actually Sunita, who's obviously his ex, is going to be the godmother of his new little boy.
Yeah, they seem to have this bond, the two of them, don't they? Because obviously, they were in a
Absolutely.
relationship for a while,
Yeah.
but they just seem to be stayed really good friends
Really
over the
good
years and
friends.
involved in each other's lives.
I think so. I mean, because I've read his life story, and he's had a number of knocks himself, Simon Cowell, and I think he likes people around him who are positive.
Yeah, and I suppose he needs people that he
who
can
are
trust.
balanced at
Yeah.
the same time, because he's had to go through sort of different things in his life as well. And now rolling on to royalty.
Oh, your favourite topic.
My favourite topic in the whole world. Have we got some royal stories tonight? But the first one being Prince Charles at the moment, and Prince Charles now is trying to start something in London. There is so much problems with getting young people housing in London now. He's now starting his own sort of developments and his own sort of strategy to actually get more houses for young people and for flats and so forth. And so he's really trying to talk to developers now to get more, people, younger people, their first homes as well.
I think the whole concept is that he's frightened that young talent has been driven out of the capital. So people are having to move miles away because they can't afford to spend all their salary on rent.
It's expensive. It's very expensive rent here.
Yeah, really expensive. So I think it's to do with mid-rise flats. Obviously not high-rise because that's depression and various things, but to build all this lovely greenery and everything and have things at a fair rent. So fingers crossed that will come,
that's a nice
come into
positive thing,
action.
isn't
But we had, so I'm changing the order slightly. Helena's
They're fighting over the iPad. One's doing one thing.
This is my baby, this is.
Ian, you've got to get your own one.
It's a new toy. It's a new
Did
toy.
you hear what Chrissy said? You've got to get your own one.
No, I know. Oh dear, that's going to start a row now.
No
But one of the things that has happened this week is obviously the nanny for William and Kate, Marie Teresa Borrello. And unfortunately, this poor lady has gone onto a shame website in Spain for not paying her council tax.
Whoops! Oh, no, that's not a good start.
That's not a good start.
Thing.
She's got a very clean record, apart from someone obviously dug that up.
Oh no!
Which is a bit of a shame.
Poor
isn't
love.
It?
So this.
So they're still going to employ her.
Nobody has heard about this, but unfortunately, she's gone into this website now.
Oh,
so I've gone out of sync.
Yeah, that's okay. One really sad story, because it still happens, and it's such a shame that people get caught with scams on Facebook. But a poor gentleman, an Austrian gentleman, was caught out. Somebody set up a Prince Harry Facebook account, and an Austrian he was conned out of something like £23,000, but he thought it was Prince Harry communicating with him. And if he paid a certain amount, and it was, I know it's really
we shouldn't laugh, should we?
Laugh. We
Sad,
shouldn't. It is, the thing was, he paid this £23,000, but he was promised that he'd get a contract worth nearly £900,000 for redoing all the parquet floor in Buckingham Palace. I can't believe it's parquet floor all the way through.
But didn't you know they have people to sort of do the admin work and contacting them?
He contacted the police, and obviously he tried to then, once he'd sent the money over, contact Prince Harry, but Prince Harry had run off. So whoever the con person was. Which is very sad.
So careful.
So it just goes to show at times, the things to be careful with all these sort of Facebook accounts.
Yeah,
and stuff. Because you never know. Because I was told, and on very good authority, that both Harry and William have Facebook accounts.
I've never checked.
And they go under an assumed name because they actually sort of work these things as well.
But I think their PR team and everything recently bought up all the domains, all the Facebook things associated, not just with William and Harry, but the whole royal family in general.
I can imagine, because imagine all the people that will try to
pretend
fraud, pretend and everything. We've got a couple more minutes if you can cover one.
We've got loads.
Have you? They just told me we've got 1 minute, sorry, go on.
I was just catching breath.
Pick a good one.
A good one is...
Go
for it.
Let's go for...
can I talk about Kate and Mara? Sorry, that's quite important, sorry. Kate and Mara, who died this week.
Sorry, who?
Kate and Mara, who died this week, who I knew very well.
Yeah.
And she was on Dynasty for many years, but bless her heart, apparently the story's going around at the moment, she died of a broken heart, that her son died last year as well, and she died in this home in Surrey. And she was such a lady. She was such a wonderful lady to actually work with.
She's beautiful,
and one of my best friends, he was a sub-editor on a newspaper when I used to work in newspapers. He was her boyfriend for years, and it's quite a sort of personal thing. So it's just a sort of a memory thing tonight with Kate and Mara. She was such a lovely lady, and it's a sad thing to sort of see this week on that bit. But I don't want to finish on a downer.
Let's finish on an up
Okay,
note.
Yeah.
so all you Michael Jackson fans out there, Sony are releasing basically tracks that have never been heard before.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
so some really good things. But they are actually releasing it beginning on a Sony phone, so it should be out at the end of April.
Oh,
but then
cool.
afterwards, once all they've been bought up, it's going to be released probably on an album. But that's quite
Wonderful.
exciting.
That is exciting,
That's exciting news.
Yeah, that's nice to see finish on that note. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for the news. Ian, you're going to stay with us, aren't you?
I'm going to stay with you.
Because, we're going to be talking about optimism a bit later on. I know you're a very optimistic person. Really, really optimistic. So.
I'm optimistic. I'm going to stay.
And he does get places. I have to say. We'll talk about that after the break. Then we'll also be having our video, our fitness tip with Jane Wrafter. So please don't go away.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. Now, before we do anything else, let's go to Jane Wrafter with today's fitness tip.
Hi, I'm Jane. Welcome to our top fitness tips for the week. And I'm with Elia, who's a celebrity fitness trainer. So welcome to Elia as well. It's lovely to have you with us. Now, we are today going to talk about nutrition and the do's and don'ts of nutrition, and it really is a huge subject, so we're going to try and cram it down into our little top fitness tips for you. One of the things that I always say to my clients is that women tend not to eat enough protein, and I've talked to Elia about this before, and he says it's the same for men actually. Is that right, Elia?
I think a lot of men, when you actually see, when they write their food down, especially the clients that I have and the guys that I have that I train, they write their foods down, there's simply not enough protein in their diet. It's a lot of carbs and a lot of fats.
Yes, and I find the same with women, a lot of carbohydrates, lots of fats, and also lots of hidden sugars, because there's so many hidden sugars in things that you don't realise, lots and lots of processed food. So it's a good idea when you're buying food to look at the ingredients and realise that there's lots of things that end in OSE that are forms of sugar, and that's glucose, fructose, lactose.
Yeah.
If you see anything like that on an ingredients list, it's actually a form of sugar. And you know, obesity is a growing problem all over the world, and it's largely due to sugars and fats and unhealthy eating, isn't it?
And I think it also gives you that spike as well. So you've got energy for, you know, maybe 10 to 20 minutes, and then suddenly you just take a slump, and again you keep having that effect, and you want more of those carbs, and then you keep having carbs, and you keep having those kind of like big highs and then like big lows in the day. So definitely a no-no to stay away from.
I think so, and I think linking into what you're saying about carbs, it's good to understand the difference between the two types of carbohydrates, because you've got refined and unrefined, and all the refined stuff is the bad stuff. That's the stuff you get in cakes and biscuits and bread and sweets. So that's no good. But the kind of thing like the brown pasta and the granary type bread, that type of carbohydrate is what you should be going for. Because it keeps you fuller for longer, doesn't it?
100%. And also before a workout, you need those type of foods to kind of give you that slow release energy throughout your workout as well. So it's a good source to have before your workouts too.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when they're on diets, they have too little to eat, don't they? Come to the gym and the blood sugars drop, and they get dizzy, have to sit down and rest. I've seen that several times. So try and have a look at your diet and have a really good think about how you could make even small changes, decrease the amount of sugar and fat. And you know, interestingly, low-fat foods often have a lot of sugar in them. So it's good to try and keep a low-fat diet, but just make sure that in doing that, that you're not taking in more sugar than you realise. So check the ingredients, I think.
100%.
Lots of fruit, lots of vegetables. Alcohol's got sugar in too. We've got to remember that, sadly, but it has. You've got to keep your eye on that. Up your protein, up your fruit and veg, and exercise, and you'll be fit and fabulous. So try that, and we'll see you next time for our fitness tips.
Thank you very much, Jane and Elias. So I've still got Ian with me over here because he is definitely an optimist, as we said.
Absolutely.
But I also have a young lady here, Laura. You describe yourself as a pessimist, sweetie.
I do.
You
I'm very pessimistic.
Okay. So first of all, let's speak to you then first, Laura. Why do you describe yourself as a pessimist?
Just situations that I've been put in, really. Mainly it's when I'm relying on other people. I find that I can't rely on other people, even if I know in the back of my head, I think, yeah, it's going to go to plan, but something's always there telling me that no, like I just have a problem with knowing something is going to go wrong.
But do things ever go right though for you, or do you not sort of notice them when they go right?
I think when I think about it, I mean, when things do go right, I just sort of go with the flow. But when I'm relying on myself, I know things are going to go the way I plan because I plan it and I'm going to make it happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you feel like you're in control of your own
exactly.
life.
Yeah.
But not when it involves other people.
No, or just anything like in relationships. Like obviously I have my friends that I can trust. I mean, I have my group of friends, but then I probably will pick like 3 out of 20 of them that I can really rely on. So.
Right. Are you able to describe maybe a few things that have happened that have made you a pessimist?
Yeah, I mean, mainly in things like relationships. I've had people like constantly let me down time and time again, and I'm just in that frame of mind now where I'm thinking, do I really want that to happen again? So I maybe will distance myself from certain people, or I'll put too much pressure onto a certain situation that it will end up going wrong. Because of myself, like I know it's my fault and it will be my fault, but it's because of situations that I've been in, and then obviously these other people don't understand, so they probably will just think, okay, like they'll either get a bit fed up or I'll get fed up, like just something will go wrong.
But do you not think that's just because you know what happens when we have like a bad experience, if we don't sort of just move on from it and say, okay, I know it's a terrible, some things that we go through are really bad, but then we can't sort of then think, okay, the same thing's going to happen again, or this person is the same as the last person, because what happens, we start to behave in different ways, don't we?
Yeah.
We start to behave in different ways, and we kind of bring about negative things because of the way things we've started to say, things we've started to do. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy even, isn't it?
It's just a vicious circle. It keeps going on and on, and you just can't get it to stop.
But have you tried to break out of it?
I mean, I have done. Recently I tried to break out of it, but then just something went wrong again, and it's just in the back of my head, and I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, it's either just my luck or I'm just not going to get my hopes up about anything. Like recently I was breaking the spell and I was getting my hopes up so much about something, and then it's just completely ended and crushed on the floor again. So
okay. Well, we're going to be getting some advice for you after the break, Laura, because I know things can definitely change. Because Ian, you had a run of lots of things going wrong. So did I. We both broke out of it. We both have a different life today. So there is always hope. You can never lose your hope. Because you know you're very young. You've got loads of things going for you. You're gorgeous. You've got so many things going for you. So I know things can change around for you. But Ian, just before we go to the break, tell us a few, because you had quite a few things happen to you as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, in my own life, there's been all sorts of ups and downs, but the reality is I've always believed that things will go right. And so that I'm totally the flip side to Laura. You know, that I expect things to go right. And in my own life, even when I had downsides, I mean, I've said on a previous show that I went through this terrible divorce, probably went through some form of depression. For 2 years, you know, I was virtually homeless as well. But all that time I knew that when I really wanted to, I could change my life again. And the reality is I live my life without fear. I don't have any fear in my life at all now. I really don't, you know, apart from here.
I'm not scary.
Oh, you're not scary, I'm only joking. And it's so important, I think, to actually believe that you will win through, because you do. You know, and so. And
everyone has their ups and downs, though. It's not to say, for example, that things don't go wrong sometimes, or people don't let us down. It's part of life. It is a part of life, but it's another thing when everything's constantly going wrong. There's something there that has to sort of be broken, or a change, maybe, you know, in yourself, to do something differently. There's always but I believe there's always a way out, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, I mean, people have asked me, you know, why am I so happy? I bounce out of bed in the mornings, you know. I am happy. I'm a really happy person. You know, I'm a very positive person. I mentor a lot of people who are going through these sort of types of issues. The reality for me is that, you know, even when I'm working now, for me, I've never worked a day in my life in 46 years of working. I've just loved every single day. You know, and every single day, yeah, every single day gets its pleasures. And I think part and parcel of how I got through my times as well, one technique that I used to give myself little treats. You know, so if I was having a bad day, I would think, okay, well, I can give myself a treat tomorrow. It could be anything. It could be 6 bars of chocolate, or yeah, just double my usual.
Don't advise that.
My usual capacity, or you know, anything that would sort of give me that extra little boost. And you can create your own happiness. I'm a total believer in the fact that anybody, once you take control of your life, can do that.
Okay. Well, we're going to be speaking to Dr. Sally Austin after the break, and she's going to be giving us some advice. So if maybe you're watching and you think that, you know, you're quite a pessimistic person, you're quite a negative person, but you'd like to change that, you know, you've got yourself in some kind of rut, or it's like a pattern that things maybe keep going wrong for you, she's going to be giving us some advice on how you can break out of that and even start again if you need to. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, before we continue speaking to Ian and the lovely Laura, let's take a look at this lovely restaurant that I went to visit in Brighton.
Outside Food Illick in Brighton, and I'm with Peter Illick, who is the owner of this. You might recognise him from Little Bay, Brighton, Farringdon and Kilburn. So hello Peter.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having us again.
Well, welcome to this a little bit different than Little Bay restaurants. This is cafe, as you can see behind us. It's totally different. We do for vegans, vegetarians, we do for meat eaters as well. So it's for everybody.
Hey guys, this is our drink menu.
It's lovely.
So why should people come here?
Well, as I said again, the great value, the different tastes you can get, great service in the first place, and then I think this is not just a quick lunch. This is experience. I think this is something that you should visit and something you should remember from Brighton.
Do you know what? We've just had the most lovely, lovely meal, and it's one of those things that you have that you can eat lots of it and not feel guilty because everything is healthy, everything is fresh, and it's just amazing, amazing food. Barbara, what do you think?
Really good. I'm feeling really full because I don't feel bad because it was good food, but I probably ate a little bit too much, but it was really good. And loads of vegetables, but meat as well, both good.
Well, that made me hungry, and that made you hungry, didn't it?
show that, didn't you?
Well, actually, we might be able to go to the Pentonville Road one because they've opened one up in London now, so I'm going to be visiting it very soon.
Well, I'm
we can
into
go
healthy
together.
food.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, so let's speak to Dr. Sally Austin now. Hello, how are you, Dr. Sally?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we've just had Laura here speaking to us. I don't think you're on the line at the time, but she was saying how she expects things to go wrong sometimes, although she feels in control of her own life. But when it involves other people, she feels let down by people a lot of the time. Is there anything else you want to add, Laura, apart from what you said already?
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly when I feel pessimist is due to the fact when it's involving other people.
Mm-hmm. Just other people, like relationships, friends, things like that? Yeah,
just anything. I can't rely on people, even if I know I can, if that makes sense. I just can't. In the back of my head, there's always something saying, like, what if this is going to happen, or I'm going to get let down. So
even with the ones that you kind of trust, you're sort of expecting something to go wrong?
I just won't get my hopes up about anything, or if I'm getting excited for something, I won't, because I feel like I'm going to get let down.
Okay, so Dr. Sally, what do you think about that? Because that's quite a sort of sad way to sort of think about things, isn't it?
Yes, that is. The next I'm thinking about is if you are insurance.
Dr. Sally, sorry, the line's really bad. Maybe we can get you. Actually, we're going to get you to. Can we get you to call in instead? We'll get someone to call you so we can hear you properly because the line's a little bit bad. Is that okay? Oh, so at least you could hear you. All right, so we can just try and get her on the call. And in the meantime, we'll speak a bit more to Ian here. So Ian, like
I've just taken up on that point of friends and so forth as well. And I think it's quite right. I think you have to learn how to trust people. I think that's totally important. But I think I have a great series of friends, but the best friend that helped me around is Helena. Aww. And Helena was there for me, and she was my rock for several years and really sort of turned my life around. So bless her heart tonight, she really did. You know, and I think it's really important to actually put yourself out to people. The only way that you'll ever make really good friends, you have to open up to them as well. You have to expose yourself to them as well to a point. Yes, you'll get disappointed sometimes, but I think in life, as I say, my view is really the flip side of Laura. I believe that everybody wants to know me. I believe that everybody will find happiness through me, and I try to make people happy as well. I think that's really important.
I think everyone's been let down by someone at some point in the way, because I remember being really let down by a best friend that I had, and she accused me of something that I hadn't done, and she would not believe me for anything. It was involving a guy as well. She thought I'd tried to break them up. And it really, really upset me that she didn't trust me and she didn't believe what I was saying to her. And so from that day, it was like I shut myself off from friends. And it was only like much, like, you know, I thought, I'm better off staying alone. I'm happy like this. I'm a loner. That's how I want it to be. But then after a few years, I realised that I was actually getting quite lonely, and I needed girlfriends. I needed female friends to hang around with and talk. And then I started to learning how to open up to certain people. And I found that the more, as you're saying, the more I opened up and spoke about myself and my problems that I was going through, I've made some amazing friends. And the way I live my life now is that I will obviously trust the person and, you know, not expect anything to go wrong. And if they fail, or if they happen, you know, if they make a mistake, or at least, you know, I've not shut myself off from people. So I'll just basically trust someone until they let me down, kind of thing. But I'm not expecting them to let me down, just see what I mean? Yeah. And that's how you make some brilliant friends. Because if we're expecting things to go wrong, and we're just looking out for things to go wrong, that's when sometimes bad things happen.
I mean, it's my birthday this month, so anybody wants to send me in a card from the viewers. So I'll be 63 this month, and every year I have this afternoon tea party in Selfridges as my birthday.
Really?
So you're invited.
Oh,
all invited. You're all invited. And it drives Selfridges mad because we actually secrete a cake in. We bring a birthday cake in and balloons. And last year they couldn't believe this was happening. And all my friends come in.
Oh, that's lovely.
As well. Yeah, and I've got lots of sort of friends as well. And we all come in and have this sort of celebration. And everybody meets everyone else. It's really nice.
Oh, that's great.
So it is. It's all about self-belief and trust. And I quite agree with you. I actually would like to work with you for a month and see what I can turn your life around.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah,
I
I'm
really
up for
would,
that
and perhaps you
idea.
can come back on if that's possible, and we can sort of see a new Laura.
Hopefully.
Because I totally believe.
I think
that
the
this
first
is
thing that
possible.
has to change is the way that you're thinking. Obviously, we're going to get Dr. Sally. That's the first thing that needs
I know
to
people
change.
do tell me this, but it's a mental game. I know it is. Like,
it is, but you have got control over it, because sometimes with anyone, like, these thoughts come, negative thoughts come all the time, and actually our brains sometimes, I think, are a bit programmed like that, just to sort of think negatively.
Yeah.
But you can always override that. As soon as it comes, say, you know, shut up, I'm not going to listen to you, and you change your thoughts immediately. That's how I do it, because it's not that, you know, because I'm confident today or that my life's changed today, that negative thoughts don't come or insecurities don't come. They still do. But immediately I'm alert to them, and I say, you know what, I'm not going to listen to this.
Absolutely.
And I change the way I'm thinking, and I start to think positive, and I say, no, I can do it, and I'm not like that. And you know, that's how, don't think that you're the only person that goes through this, because sometimes when we think we're the only ones that are having these kind of thoughts, that makes us feel even worse, and thinking, oh, it's just me, and look at everyone else, they're so confident and they've got so much going for them. But you don't know that we actually go through the same things, but it's just that we've found a way of getting rid of it immediately.
And I think that's a very important thing to sort of talk about as well, because I mean, I get lots of people coming to me. I attract people who seem to have problems more than anything, which is fabulous. Don't get me wrong, I love solving people's problems. I love helping people. But there are certain people who, if I don't feel I'm being respected in return, they're the ones that, unless they have an issue behind them, they're the ones I will cut away again. I don't have any problem at all now with cutting away negative.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's another thing you have to check out for.
Surround yourself in positive people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And you'll have a fabulous life.
Well, I'm looking forward to the next month and helping me through this.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're still trying to get Dr. Sally back on the line. I don't know if she's there yet. All right, so we're going to go. Okay, she's not there yet. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to read a question now from a viewer, which we're going to do in the other part, but I'll do it now with you. And just to see, you know, what advice we can give to this viewer as well. She says, hi Chrissy, I'm getting married soon, but my fiance seems very controlling as regards, here we go. I'm getting married soon, but my fiance seems very controlling. I feel like I'm under so much pressure, not to imagine what I'm already going through to prepare for this day. What would Chrissy do? Now, this is from Kim. Now, I know, obviously, with anyone wedding, there is also automatically a lot of pressure. But your main issue here seems to be your fiance is very controlling. Now, we have to be a bit clear about this. Is he controlling regarding sort of the wedding preparations, or is he controlling in general? If it's just to do with the wedding preparations, maybe he's seeing you really stressed and, you know, he wants to come in and help you. Maybe he's worried about the finances, like he's worried about how much, you know, is going to be spent. So if he's controlling regarding that, I wouldn't say that's too much of an issue, because, you know, it's just because of the wedding and he's probably under pressure too. However, if you're saying that he's controlling in general, that's something that I think you really need to look into before you even get married, because if someone's controlling now, don't think that you'll be able to change them after you get married. In fact, it's probably going to get even worse. I'm not trying to sort of put any negatives on your relationship, but it's something that you have to be so careful of. And, you know, I have friends that have been through this. You know, the guy was so nice before they got married, and then there were signs there, but they didn't sort of look into it enough, and then afterwards they had quite a bad relationship. So, as I said, if it is just a wedding prep, not much to worry about. But if he's controlling in general, I would say really be careful. You know, make sure you're getting married to the right person before you go any further with that. And if you need to talk to someone, obviously you can get advice with that. You can get some kind of counselling, or if you need to speak to someone else, you can contact me as well, and I can put you in touch with the right people. And you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. But you know my email address already, because you already emailed. But if anyone else is watching and they would also like some advice, you can email me on that same address. You do have to be careful, don't you? The signs are there.
Do you know, I work with a lot of ladies who have this type of problem. And normally it's the insecurity of men that is causing this controlling situation in the first place. And if men feel insecure, I mean, there's one case in point at the moment where a lady is, right now, she's facing all sorts of issues in her life. And she's met someone who wants to constantly marry her. He badgers her to marry her every day. And at the moment as well, you know, she's under so much pressure for all sorts of reasons. And he's really almost trying to control her life.
Yeah.
And
Good.
that's a very bad sign. And if the insecurities are there, I think probably the person, the lady herself, needs to find out exactly what those insecurities are and get help for those insecurities.
Definitely. Okay, we're going to go to a quick break then, but we're going to be speaking hopefully to Dr. Sally Austin after the break. And we also have an interview with a vintage hair salon that I went to. And, you know, sometimes people are a bit sort of scared to do something that's a bit out of the box, and, you know, they have a brilliant idea and they're not they're thinking, oh, what if it doesn't work? But this is a lovely lady called Jacqueline that did take a chance, and everything's going really, really well for her. So we'll be watching that after the break too, so do stay with us.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show. Always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now we've got Dr. Sally Austin back, this time on the line, so hopefully it'll be nice and clear for us. Good evening, Dr. Sally Austin.
Hi, I'm here. Yes,
Hello.
You don't get my beautiful face this time, but you
Oh,
just get my voice.
I did want to see your face, but never mind. At least the viewers got to see what you look like before. So why is it, Dr. Austin, that people are pessimistic sometimes?
Well, interestingly, pessimism comes from the most fundamental of survival instincts. So people like Laura, in the way back as cavemen, cave women, actually would have been the people who would have survived. So their way of thinking is incredibly functional. She will have been the sort of person who would have spotted the saber-toothed tiger, spotted the baddies coming to attack, spotted the snake, the spider.
I see those all the time, don't we?
And that's really, really crucial. So, you know, we sort of don't want to get rid of people who have a tendency to pessimism, because they're actually incredibly helpful for our survival. They're the people who will make great engineers on aeroplanes. They'll spot, you know, when a bolt is wrong or something's unsafe.
It's about keeping your eyes open then, in a sense, like
Absolutely,
danger.
absolutely. We don't necessarily want the whole world to go around going, la la la, isn't life wonderful, let's all think positive.
Okay.
But I think for Laura herself, you know, her experience is that this can be quite miserable at times, and she worries that it affects her relationships. And I guess my advice in that situation would be to think, if you were the insurance broker or if you were the betting man, what would your odds on this person letting you down be? And think, fundamentally, what have I got? What evidence have I got that they will let me down? What evidence have I got that they won't let me down? If it's just a gut instinct of a little bit of a then the chances are that might just be your survival instinct kicking in. If you've got good evidence, you know, this person's failed to turn up 4 times running, they're always late, they do let you down if they get a better offer, then you've got evidence that that person could well let you down again. But if the evidence isn't there, think what a betting man would do. Would he put money on the chance of that friend letting you down? Or would he say, no, I don't think your chances are very good. Chances are that friend will turn up and will do good for you.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it. Is that helpful for you, Laura?
Yeah, that does. As soon as she was saying that then, I was thinking of a situation in my head, thinking like, would I put money down? And in my head, no, I wouldn't, straight away.
And that's what it comes to, doesn't it? I mean, I think we are such a complex mixture of our head, our heart, our body. You know, just because you've got adrenaline running around your body doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. So if you imagine, you know, someone who's scared of spiders, their body will be full of adrenaline, but that doesn't actually mean that the spider is any more dangerous. You know, in this country, a spider can't hurt you. If you're in the middle of you know, some African jungle or Australian, I suppose, and there are deadly spiders, then that gut instinct is useful. And I guess the job of somebody who finds themselves thinking negatively is to try and work out, is the potential for a real danger, or is the potential for a slightly imagined, slightly exaggerated danger, because you've just got a very sensitive body. And it, you know, as I said at the beginning, you know, that sort of body is phenomenally useful for the survival of our race, but it's a bit of a pain in the bum for you on a day-to-day basis, because you might well spot the negatives where other people might well just sort of blasé their way through it, going, hey ho, doesn't matter if they don't like me.
But Laura, can you think of other situations and friends where you would say, though they're not likely to let me down because, you know, they've been good so far,
Yeah,
and there's no evidence to suggest that they would?
Or at least if they're going to let me down, they'll like inform me or make it up to me or give me a call and be like, I can't make it this time, I'll be half an hour late or something like that. But I can rely on people like that.
Okay.
It's just more the sense of the other people, or like new people. Like recently I've met a couple of new people and I've just completely let them let me down though as well. That's my problem.
In what sense?
Well.
What do you mean?
In like I'll be really pessimist about them in the first place.
Oh, right,
say for example, oh okay, is this going to happen? Is that not going to happen? Then maybe I'll like say for example, I was like dating someone recently. He was so nice, really lovely. We went out, really liked him. I completely opened up to him about so much different things, and then he's just non-stop letting me down all the time, and and not even like in a oh sorry I can't make it, like in a horrible way now. And it's just
obviously that's not the one for you.
Yeah, no, so yeah, like it's sort of like on to the next one. But now I'm just like, oh, okay, like it just makes me feel so negative about same situations over and over again.
But then, sorry, Dr. Said, did you
No,
want to
I
say
was just
something?
thinking for me, you know, the reality is that people are unreliable. I remember somebody who'd been to a huge, great, like 17,000 people religious festival that was their particular religion. And whoever was giving the speech said to them, now look around you, spot all the people who have never let you down. And you do, and you've got 16,000 of them and never let you down. And they said, they will. And that doesn't mean they're bad people, and it doesn't
Everyone's
mean that
got
you're
mistakes,
a bad person. It just means that, you know, people are a bit wobbly. We're complex. We have very busy lives. We have very, you know, this bloke or the partner that you met may well have let you down. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean the next person will let you down. Just means that for some reason he's not the right one.
That's great advice. Thank you so much.
All
it's
right,
lovely being having you on the show. Wish we could see your face, but never mind. Next time.
Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so before we come back to chat to both of you before we finish the show, let's take a look at this interview that I did at the Vintage Hair Parlour. So now I'm with Jacqueline Fletcher, who's the owner of this lovely place. Hi, Jacqueline.
Hello.
I've really been enjoying myself today.
Oh, good. Thank you. That's what I like to hear.
Even though I messed up my tent.
No, it was fine. It was a valid effort. You did a good
Just
job.
being polite, I'm sure. So tell us, how did you actually start and get into this?
Well, my background's in corporate branding and interior design, and when I was growing up in Boston, I always thought that maybe my mom and I would team together and we'd open this cool hair salon. But obviously I ended up living in London, so I took my background and decided to create my own brand, which is the Parlour London. And
so was it something you always wanted to do, or?
Not necessarily. I just always wanted to do something that wasn't really corporate and something that I could have a little bit of flexibility and freedom with. And yeah, this just seemed like the right area.
Now, some people, we were having a chat earlier, some people, they kind of stop when they maybe hit against the brick wall or they find some kind of obstacle. Did you come across that as well when you set your business up?
Yeah, tons of obstacles.
Really? What kind of stuff? Can you give us some examples?
First of all, it's the matter of trying to do something that is not something I've experienced in. I don't do hair. I've never worked in a salon. No, I don't.
Oh, wow.
I'm just branding and the business side of it.
Okay.
So opening something that I didn't have experience in, obviously, is a huge...
That's brave.
Yeah, it's really scary. And a lot of people were like, what are you doing? But...
how did you get past that with people sort of telling you, look?
Well, I just had to show them that I have experience in branding. I have worked on brands before, and I have created things that have worked in the past, so why not put myself to the test and see what comes of it? So that's what the point here was, and that was really hard. Finding a property is difficult, getting the right people to work with you is difficult, everything is difficult. Nothing's easy, but when it works, it's perfect. So one thing we were really excited about was the fact that we had Time Out London come and review us just a few months after opening, which was one of my goals, and I was really thrilled when that worked out. And they came over and they actually voted us best for vintage styling, which was really exciting. So we've been doing a lot more of that recently. A lot more people have read that, obviously, and they're excited about the whole vintage thing.
But you do other like type
Oh yeah,
of
we do
styling
all
as
sorts.
well.
We do everything. I mean, primarily we're a blow dry bar, and we do bohemian braid, so really casual, big fat updos, kind of like what's popular now in the Hunger Games, that sort of thing. So yeah, we do it all.
Okay. And looking back now at things that you've been through and the struggles that you've had, and if there's like a viewer watching now that's saying, you know, I'd love to start my own business, but I don't feel like I have what it takes, I don't have the experience, what would you say to them?
Well, I would say go for it, really, because if you don't, then you'll never know, and you'll spend all this time wondering what could have happened, and it isn't easy, and it takes a lot of hard work, but it's worth it, because when it is good, it's really good, and you know that's what you've achieved on your own.
Do you wake up happy and looking forward to coming to work?
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah, definitely. I love being here. So, yeah, I have no complaints on that front.
Jacqueline, thank you so much for a lovely morning.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Okay, that's it, viewers, and see you next time. Okay, we're almost out of time, so I've just got time to say goodbye to both of you.
Goodbye.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on and being so open about what you're going through, and I'm sure things are going to turn around for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You've got to start believing it too.
Yes, I
Yeah,
will.
you will, right? Ian, thank you so
for the
much.
teacups.
It's all right. We're going to have to show them to the viewers
have to
now.
show them the
because they're
teacups.
so cute. They're really nice. Well, thank you, and we'll see you again next time,
You will see
along
me
with the
soon.
lovely Helena, of course. So that's all we have time for, folks. I do hope you've enjoyed the show and it's been beneficial for you too. If you want any more information, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv, and also if you have a suggestion for a topic that you'd like to see us cover here, you can also email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye for now.